Alright, let's do this! Blank. What's going on, YouTube fam? Thank you so much for everybody who watched the first video. It means the world to me to hear comments and replies, especially people who I haven't talked to in a really long time, so it's so awesome. And I'd like to bring you on my adventures ahead, for sure, and all the trips that I'm planning, but I think to really understand my appreciation for this new chapter in my life, I think it's helpful to take a step back and understand where I've come from. I think this video will be fun because I think there's a lot of people who know me and know of me, and you know, we all have different depths of our friendship. So it'll be fun to see who knows some stuff about me and also share some facts about me as far as how I grew up and kind of how I've kind of come to this point. So if you didn't know, I actually come from a military family. It was the Vietnam War. I had uncles who were in the Army, uncles who were imprisoned and in the re-education camps. My uncle actually was in the Navy. He was a refugee with his wife, my aunt. They were sponsored to come to Hartford, Connecticut. I'm really grateful that they were able to make it through their journey alive, that I'm even here. So after that, it was through a long period of time of them building a life for themselves over here. I actually reconnected with my mom, and they were able to sponsor our family. Now, if you know anything about the sponsorship program with immigration, it takes at least 10 years, and this is after you are vetted significantly. So even before I even was a thought in existence, they had already made the decision to leave to America before I was even born. Imagine that as far as planning significant change in your life for your family for a better opportunity in 10 years time. So I left Vietnam when I was 4 years old. We lived with my uncle for a little bit, and we mostly settled in a multifamily. And I grew up in a multifamily for majority of my life. Went through the public school system, lived on the second floor, and we stayed there up until I was a junior in high school. A quiet neighborhood overall. I would ride my bike up and down the street, and I felt pretty safe. I would get my $5 allowance and go down to the Jamaican store. It's literally what it was called, the Jamaican store, and get me a Jamaican beef patty. And hang out with some friends. Man, I grew up on Vienna sausages and pate in terms of like potted meat product. If you don't know what that is, I'm gonna put a picture up because that was great. Put that with rice, a little soy sauce, you good. We never really traveled growing up. A lot. We would travel to the buffet for my birthday. And other kids went on vacation. I was at home riding my bike, and I was like working on extra credit stuff because we didn't go anywhere. So I had time to do that. I grew up on hand-me-down clothes. I mean, I was even blessed to have like hand-me-down cars, right, from my older siblings. I remember one car I had, and this was even through college that I had this hand-me-down car, and literally nothing worked besides it being able to go. Speedometer didn't work, gas gauge didn't work, air conditioning didn't work. So all that worked were windows, and I would have to follow other cars on the highway to make sure I would like keep up with speed and like hope that I was going like the right speed. And at one point it died on the highway, and then my brother got pretty mad because I realized that I forgot to put in gas because I was trying to manage it once a week and thought I did, but I didn't. It like wouldn't start a couple of times, I remember. And then at one point we tried to drive it again. It started smoking from the hood. And we're like, okay, I think it's done at this point. So you can see why I'm very grateful to have any vehicle that works. So my parents worked really hard. You know, they were factory workers, and my mom to this day is still working in a factory. Very happy to say that she'll be retiring very soon, and I'm so glad that we were able to organize that. But she mostly worked in a paper factory, handling a lot of really heavy mail. We're not like other families where they came over here and they made it, right? Or they succeeded in achieving their American dream. And what happens when you don't succeed in terms of achieving that financial success or, comfortability or security? Well, it kind of passes on to your children. So that's me. And I knew that I was an investment, and I knew that I was going to invest in myself to really make sure that I would do well for myself, but also do well for my family. When I say that I was pretty driven since elementary school in getting to college, I'm serious. I worked really hard to really get good grades. That was what we envisioned for ourselves in terms of taking ourselves out of the situation. So while money was limited, my imagination was not. And so I think it really compelled me to be creative. My creativity really led me to the arts, and I think that was always been an outlet for me. Everybody thought I was really artistic and talented, and I appreciated those words so much growing up. But, when they say you should go to art school, that wasn't an option. I mean, it was an option, but for me, that was too high risk. So there's a lot of, aversion to risk. At one point when I was around 8 or 9 years old, I was playing football and just playing with the neighbor across the street. We were just kind of throwing the ball back and forth. And then I dove for the ball, and I fell on my hand, and it was my left ring finger that broke. That was my first fractured bone, and I remember it being completely bent, and I was freaking out. I think not only because of how it looked, and obviously it was really painful. I was freaking out because I knew that, or I was afraid of the medical bill. Crying, and I was apologizing to my parents so much, and I think that puts an impact on you. I think the neighbor was kind of confused as to why the kid was so worried about that, but it's because I was aware. I was so aware of what was happening in our livelihood. So after that, I kind of told myself no contact sports. It didn't seem worth it to put my body at risk because again, I had to be this vehicle, this conduit to the American dream, right? Or what would be success in my vision, my family's vision. So interesting, paying for college was never an option. I think that we always knew that we were gonna take out loans, and the way to offset loans is scholarships. So we worked really hard to make sure we got those scholarships. And I chose UConn because bang for your buck, and they gave me a really great scholarship. I made some of my best friends there, so thanks UConn, appreciate that. Go Huskies, what up? I just remember being so burnt out after high school, honestly. I think I was tired of seeing people argue over an A versus an A+, 97 versus a 98, or I was this is all dumb. Because I think I realized, I was what is the point, right? Does a couple points difference, although it matters in your ranking for a school, does that make you a better person? I don't think so. So, I remember getting to college and, people or administrators or, counselors would ask me, how come you're not in the honors program? And I think for me that was the first step, and I was I don't want to be. I think I'm tired of all that. I didn't care for it because I was I don't even know what I want to do in life yet. Anyway, I got to PA school. I've been working as a PA for almost 7 years. So it's been great. It's been a great journey. I think that I've had an amazing experience working. I feel very lucky. Hard work is only one part of the formula. Having drive, being disciplined, all that stuff is great, but to be able to have my family in overall good health in all my efforts to keep pushing, I'm so grateful for that. Because I know plenty of other people don't have that luxury. I've met people who had to take care of family members early on, right, and couldn't go to college. Or a lot of other situations that would come up. And so I feel really blessed to be able to get to where I am. It's also a key point for me to be able to give back, not just through work, but through the community. I think that's why I like volunteering, and I also hope to use this new chapter, figure out where I want to put my time in to help volunteer and help the community. because that's still important to me. That's why I am who I am today. I'm a pretty simple guy. And I feel really lucky to have all of your support. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. More fun stuff on the way, and also taking you to places. Maybe it's on your list too. All right, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm hungry. Much love. Be well. Catch you next time.